St. Augustine, Florida, is often called the most haunted city in America because it is the oldest city in the country. Founded in 1565, it has seen wars, sickness, executions, and lost lives. Many historic buildings, forts, cemeteries, and old streets are filled with ghost stories. Visitors and locals report strange sounds, shadow figures, cold spots, and ghostly voices, making St. Augustine a true city of restless spirits. Now we will visit the most haunted places in St. Augustine. Number 1. St. Augustine Lighthouse and Maritime Museum. The St. Augustine Lighthouse and Maritime Museum in St. Augustine, Florida is known as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Built in the 1800s, the lighthouse has a dark and tragic past. One of the most famous true stories is about two young sisters who died in a terrible accident during construction. Many visitors and staff say they hear children laughing, footsteps running up the stairs, and soft voices calling out at night. Some people have even seen small ghostly figures near the base of the lighthouse. Another true haunting is linked to former lighthouse keepers. Guests often report seeing a tall man wearing old-fashioned clothing near the top of the tower. Lights have been seen turning on and off by themselves, even when no one is inside. Security guards have felt cold hands touch them and sudden drops in temperature while climbing the spiral stairs. Inside the keeper's house, furniture has moved on its own, doors open without reason, and strange shadows appear in photographs. Paranormal investigators regularly record unexplained voices and footsteps. Because of these chilling experiences, the St. Augustine Lighthouse remains a powerful place where the spirits of the past are believed to still wander, watching over the sea forever. Number 2. Castillo de San Marcos National Monument. Castillo de San Marcos National Monument in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the most haunted forts in America. Built in the late 1600s, this massive stone fortress witnessed wars, imprisonments, and many painful deaths. Soldiers, prisoners, and civilians all suffered inside its thick walls, leaving behind restless spirits. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear heavy footsteps echoing across the stone floors, even when the fort is completely empty. Guards on night duty report hearing distant cannon fire, metal clanking, and low voices speaking in Spanish, as if soldiers are still standing watch. Cold spots suddenly appear in warm areas, causing people to feel uneasy. Another chilling story involves the old prison cells. Visitors often feel sudden fear or sadness when entering these rooms. Some report seeing shadow figures standing in doorways, while others hear cries, moans, and whispered prayers. Photographs taken inside sometimes show strange misty shapes or glowing orbs. Near the fort's courtyard, people have seen ghostly figures dressed as Spanish soldiers walking along the walls and then vanishing into thin air. These true experiences have made Castillo de San Marcos a powerful reminder that the spirits of the past may still guard this ancient fortress. Number 3. Old Jail Museum. The Old Jail Museum in St. Augustine, Florida, is known as one of the most haunted buildings in the city. Built in 1891, this jail once held violent criminals, innocent prisoners, and people waiting for execution. Many suffered pain, fear, and loneliness inside its cold stone walls, and people believe their spirits never left. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear loud cell doors slamming, even though the jail is now empty. Tour guides often report keys jingling on their own and footsteps following them down dark hallways. Some guests feel sudden pressure on their chest as if someone is standing too close. Another chilling experience involves the ghost of former Sheriff Joe Perry. Many people claim to see a tall shadow figure wearing an old uniform watching from the upper floors. His presence is often felt before he is seen, bringing a strong sense of fear. In the hanging area, visitors report extreme cold spots and whispers asking for help. Children refuse to enter certain rooms, saying they see dark figures. Paranormal investigators regularly record strange voices and moving objects, making the Old Jail Museum a terrifying place filled with restless souls. Number 4. Flagler College. Flagler College, especially Ponce de Leon Hall in St. Augustine, Florida, is known as one of the most haunted college buildings in the United States. Built in 1888 as a luxury hotel by Henry Flagler, the building has seen deaths, sadness, and strong emotions over many years. Today, students and staff continue to report strange and frightening experiences. One true haunted story is about the woman in black. Many people have seen a dark figure standing on the grand staircase or walking quietly through the halls at night. She often disappears when approached, leaving behind a sudden cold feeling. Some believe she is the spirit of a woman who died while staying at the hotel. Another common experience happens late at night when the building is quiet. Students report hearing footsteps, doors opening and closing, and soft crying sounds coming from empty rooms. Security guards say lights turn on by themselves, even after the area has been locked. In some classrooms and offices, furniture has moved on its own and strange shadows appear on walls. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained voices. These true stories have made Flagler College a place where history and haunting spirits still walk together. Number 5. Tolomato Cemetery. Tolomato Cemetery in St. Augustine, Florida is one of the oldest and most haunted burial grounds in the city. Used from the late 1700s to the late 1800s, this cemetery holds the remains of soldiers, children, priests, and early settlers. Over time, floods washed away many graves, leaving bones and broken markers behind, creating a deeply unsettling place. One true haunted story comes from visitors who suddenly feel dizzy or overwhelmed when standing near certain graves. Many report strong cold spots, even on hot days, and the feeling of being watched. Some people hear soft footsteps and whispering voices, although no one else is nearby. Another chilling experience happens at night, when shadow figures are seen moving between the old tombs. Tour guides have reported seeing dark shapes standing still near grave markers before fading away. Photographs taken in the cemetery sometimes show strange mist, glowing orbs, or figures that were not visible to the eye. Some visitors have heard quiet prayers spoken in Spanish, believed to be the spirits of early settlers. These true experiences have made Tolomato Cemetery a silent but powerful place where the dead are believed to never truly rest. Number 6. Spanish Military Hospital Museum. The Spanish Military Hospital Museum in St. Augustine, Florida is one of the most haunted medical sites in the city. During the 1700s, injured soldiers, sick prisoners, and dying patients were treated here with painful and primitive methods. Many people suffered and died inside the building, and visitors believe their spirits still remain. One true haunted story comes from guests who hear painful moans and soft crying coming from empty rooms. Some people report the strong smell of blood, medicine, or burning herbs, even though nothing is there. Sudden cold air and uneasy feelings often fill the hallways. Another chilling experience happens in the old surgery area. Visitors have felt sharp pains in their arms or legs, as if they are reliving the suffering of past patients. Tour guides say medical tools sometimes appear to move or fall without being touched. At night, shadow figures have been seen standing near the walls or watching from doorways. Paranormal investigators have recorded strange voices speaking Spanish and heavy footsteps walking above them. These true stories make the Spanish Military Hospital Museum a terrifying reminder of the pain and suffering left behind by history. Number 7. Potter's Wax Museum. Potter's Wax Museum in St. Augustine, Florida is known as one of the most haunted museums in the city. Built in the early 1900s, the museum has long rows of wax figures and historic artifacts. Over the years, many visitors and staff have reported strange and frightening experiences, making it a popular spot for ghost hunters. One true haunted story involves guests hearing whispers and footsteps echoing through empty hallways at night. Some visitors feel sudden cold spots near certain wax figures, especially in the older sections of the museum. People often sense a presence watching them, even when no one else is inside. Another chilling experience happens near the Victorian-era figures. Staff and visitors have seen shadowy figures move quickly behind the wax displays. Some claim to feel light touches on their shoulders or arms, as if someone walked past them. Photographs sometimes show faint glowing shapes that cannot be explained. At night, security guards have reported doors opening and closing on their own, lights flickering, and objects shifting slightly. A few people say they hear soft cries or laughter in areas where no wax figures are placed. These true stories make Potter's Wax Museum a place filled with unexplained activity, where the past seems to linger among the figures and hallways, keeping visitors on edge. Number 8. Old City Gate. The Old City Gate in St. Augustine, Florida is one of the most haunted landmarks in the city. Built in the early 1700s, it served as the main entrance to the walled city. Over the centuries, many soldiers, travelers, and prisoners passed through it, and some never left alive. Today, the gate is known for its paranormal activity and ghostly sightings. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear the echo of footsteps on the stone pathway, even when no one is walking there. Some report feeling sudden cold spots and a heavy presence, especially at night. Another chilling experience involves shadowy figures appearing near the arches. Tour guides and tourists have seen ghostly soldiers in old uniforms pacing the gate as if still guarding the city. Faint whispers in Spanish have also been heard by those standing alone after dark. Local legend tells of a figure of a lost traveler who appears at the gate, disappearing when approached. Some photographers have captured misty shapes or glowing orbs hovering around the stones. These true stories make the old city gate a mysterious and eerie place. Visitors often feel the weight of history and the spirits of those who lived, worked, and died near this ancient entrance, giving it a haunting presence unlike anywhere else in St. Augustine. Number 9. St. Francis Inn. St. Francis Inn in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the city's most haunted hotels. Built in 1791, it has housed guests for over 2 centuries. Over time, many people have reported strange and unexplained events, making it famous among ghost hunters and visitors. One true haunted story comes from guests who hear footsteps on the old wooden floors late at night, even when no one is around. Some people have felt a sudden cold breeze in their rooms, with doors opening and closing on their own. Another chilling experience involves the spirit of a former innkeeper. Staff and visitors have seen a shadowy figure moving quietly through the hallways or standing at the foot of beds. People also report hearing whispers or murmurs when the inn is empty. In some rooms, lights flicker without reason, and objects have been found slightly moved from where they were placed. Guests say they sometimes feel invisible hands brush past them or a presence sitting on the bed. Paranormal investigators have captured strange voices, unexplained noises, and occasional glowing orbs in photographs. These true stories make St. Francis Inn a mysterious and eerie place where the spirits of the past are believed to still watch over the building, giving it a haunting and unforgettable atmosphere. Number 10. Casa de Sueños Bed and Breakfast. Casa de Sueños Bed and Breakfast in St. Augustine, Florida, is known as one of the city's most haunted inns. Built in the early 1900s, this charming historic home has been a place of comfort for guests for many years. However, many visitors and staff have reported strange and unexplained paranormal activity, giving the house a mysterious reputation. One true haunted story comes from guests who hear footsteps echoing in the hallways at night, even when no one else is in the house. Some have felt cold spots suddenly appear in warm rooms or sensed a presence standing nearby. Another chilling experience involves shadow figures seen moving through the rooms or disappearing around corners. Visitors and staff have reported hearing soft whispers, doors creaking open by themselves, and objects shifting slightly on tables and shelves. In some rooms, guests have seen unexplained lights flickering or captured glowing orbs in photographs. A few people claim to feel invisible hands brushing past them while trying to sleep. These true stories make Casa de Sueños Bed and Breakfast a place where history and the supernatural meet. Guests often leave feeling that the spirits of past residents and visitors still linger, quietly watching over the home and creating an unforgettable, eerie experience. Number 12. Bayfront Marin House. Bayfront Marin House in St. Augustine, Florida, is known as one of the most haunted inns in the city. Built near the water, this historic bed and breakfast has hosted many guests over the years, some of whom have experienced strange and unexplained events that continue to give the house a chilling reputation. One true haunted story involves guests hearing footsteps along the wooden hallways at night, even when no one else is in the building. Some visitors report feeling sudden cold drafts and a heavy presence standing near their beds. Another eerie experience happens in the guest rooms. People have seen shadow figures moving silently across walls or disappearing into corners. Others have heard faint whispers, soft voices calling out, or even laughter when the house is empty. At times, doors open and close by themselves, and objects such as books or small decorations have been found in different places without explanation. Paranormal investigators have recorded unusual sounds, including low moans and strange taps, as well as glowing orbs appearing in photographs. Locals say that the spirits of former residents or visitors linger near the waterfront, watching over the house. These true stories make Bayfront Marin House a mysterious and eerie place, where the history and lingering spirits create an unforgettable, haunting experience for all who stayed there. Number 13. Casa Monica Resort and Spa. Casa Monica Resort and Spa in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the city's most haunted hotels. Built in 1888 by Henry Flagler, this historic building has a long and dramatic past. Over the years, guests and staff have reported many strange and unexplained events, making it famous for paranormal activity. One true haunted story involves a shadowy figure of a woman in a long dress seen walking through the hallways late at night. Guests have reported feeling sudden cold drafts in warm rooms and a heavy, unsettling presence standing nearby. Another eerie experience happens in the grand lobby. People have heard footsteps echoing across the marble floors when the area is empty. Some staff members have seen lights flicker or chandeliers sway, even though there is no wind or movement. In certain guest rooms, visitors have heard soft whispers calling their names or the sound of someone moving around after everyone has gone to bed. Objects, including chairs and small decorations, have been noticed in different places without explanation. Locals say that the spirits of former guests and staff linger in the building, watching over the historic hotel. These true stories make Casa Monica Resort and Spa a mysterious and chilling place where history and the supernatural seem to exist side by side. Number 14. Evergreen Cemetery. Evergreen Cemetery in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the city's most haunted cemeteries. Founded in the 1800s, it has been the final resting place for soldiers, local families, and early settlers. Over the years, many visitors have reported strange events, making it a favorite location for ghost hunters and curious tourists. One true haunted story involves the sound of horses' hooves and carriage wheels on the cemetery roads, even though no vehicles are nearby. Visitors say the noises appear suddenly and then vanish, leaving an eerie silence. Another chilling experience happens near the older tombstones. People have felt strong pushes on their shoulders or tugging on their clothing, as if invisible hands are guiding them. Some claim to see figures in old-fashioned clothing walking between graves and disappearing into the mist. At night, lights have been seen flickering near the mausoleums, and unexplained shadows are often noticed along the tree lines. Paranormal investigators have recorded low murmurs and indistinct voices, sometimes repeating words or names. Locals say the spirits of the buried sometimes linger to protect the cemetery or to relive moments from their lives. These true stories make Evergreen Cemetery a mysterious and chilling place, where the energy of the past seems alive, leaving visitors with a sense of awe and unease. Number 15. St. George Street. St. George Street in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the oldest and most haunted streets in the city. Lined with historic shops, restaurants, and old buildings, it has seen centuries of history, from Spanish settlers to tourists today. Many visitors report strange and unexplained experiences along this lively street. One true haunted story involves shoppers hearing footsteps behind them in narrow alleyways, even when the area is empty. Some people feel sudden cold drafts or a tingling sensation on their arms, as if someone invisible is walking beside them. Another chilling experience happens inside the historic shops. Owners and employees have seen shadowy figures move past displays, disappear around corners, or appear in mirrors where no one is standing. Customers sometimes hear soft whispers, calling their names, or faint laughter echoing through empty hallways. Some visitors report doors opening or closing by themselves, items slightly moved from their shelves, or lights flickering without explanation. Paranormal investigators have captured orbs of light in photographs and recorded faint voices speaking in Spanish, believed to be spirits from earlier centuries. These true stories make St. George Street a mysterious and eerie place where history and ghosts seem to live side by side. Visitors often feel the presence of unseen eyes watching as they walk along the historic cobblestone streets, adding a chilling energy to this famous shopping area. Number 16. Ximenez-Fatio House Museum. The Ximenez-Fatio House Museum in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the city's most haunted historic homes. Built in the early 1800s, it served as a boarding house for wealthy women visiting the city. Over the years, many visitors and staff have reported strange and unexplained paranormal activity, giving the house an eerie reputation. One true haunted story involves people hearing footsteps in the upper rooms late at night, even when no one is there. Some visitors have felt sudden cold spots or an invisible presence standing behind them, especially near the main bedrooms. Another chilling experience happens in the dining and common areas. Guests have seen shadowy figures sitting or walking slowly, disappearing when approached. Some report faint whispers or soft laughter, as if former residents are still socializing in the house. Doors have been known to open or close on their own, and objects such as chairs or books have shifted from their original positions without explanation. Photographs sometimes reveal mysterious orbs or misty shapes hovering near the walls. Local legend says that the spirits of past boarders linger, keeping watch over the house and its visitors. These true stories make the Ximenez-Fatio House Museum a mysterious and haunted place, where the history and lingering spirits create an unsettling and unforgettable experience. Number 17. Llambias House. Llambias House in St. Augustine, Florida is one of the oldest and most haunted homes in the city. Built in the early 1700s, this historic house has survived fires, wars, and centuries of changing owners. With such a long and troubled past, many people believe spirits still remain inside. One true haunted story comes from museum staff who hear footsteps moving through the rooms when the house is empty. These sounds are slow and heavy, often stopping outside closed doors. Visitors also report sudden cold spots near the old stone walls. Another chilling experience involves the spirit of a former resident believed to be a soldier. Guests have seen a shadowy male figure standing near windows or doorways, dressed in old-fashioned clothing. He often disappears when someone tries to get closer. Some visitors have heard soft whispers and low breathing sounds while standing alone in the house. Objects such as chairs or small items have been found slightly moved without explanation. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained voices and strange energy readings during investigations. Many people leave Llambias House feeling watched even after stepping outside. These true haunted stories have made Llambias House a deeply unsettling place, where the past feels alive, and the spirits of St. Augustine's earliest days are believed to still wander quietly through its rooms. Number 18. Oldest Wooden Schoolhouse. The oldest wooden schoolhouse in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the most haunted historic buildings in the city. Built in the early 1700s, this small school once taught children during a time of strict discipline and hard living. Many believe the strong emotions of fear and punishment left spirits behind. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear children's laughter and whispering voices inside the empty classroom. Some people say they hear a bell ringing or the sound of chalk scratching on a board, even though no class is in session. Another chilling experience happens near the old desks. Guests have felt small hands tug at their clothing or sudden cold air brush past them. Tour guides report seeing tiny shadow figures sitting quietly, then vanishing when noticed. At night, lights have been seen flickering inside the building, and objects such as books or slates appear slightly moved. Paranormal investigators have recorded faint children's voices answering questions during investigations. Many visitors feel a deep sadness mixed with fear when entering the schoolhouse. These true haunted stories make the oldest wooden schoolhouse a disturbing place, where the spirits of long-forgotten students are believed to still attend class, trapped forever in the lessons of the past. Number 19. Fort Matanzas. Fort Matanzas, located near St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the most haunted historic forts in the area. Built in 1742, this small Spanish watchtower was used to protect the city from enemy attacks. Many soldiers lived, suffered, and died here, leaving behind restless spirits tied to the lonely fort and surrounding waters. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear footsteps climbing the wooden stairs, even when no one else is inside the fort. The sounds are slow and heavy, as if a soldier is still standing guard. Some people also hear the clanking of weapons and whispered commands carried by the wind. Another chilling experience happens near the water surrounding the fort. Visitors have reported hearing cries for help and splashing sounds late at night, believed to be the spirits of prisoners or drowned sailors. Sudden cold winds often appear without warning, even on warm evenings. Some guests have seen shadowy figures wearing old military clothing standing near the walls or looking out toward the ocean. Photographs sometimes show strange mist or dark shapes near the tower. These true haunted stories make Fort Matanzas a quiet but terrifying place, where the spirits of Spanish soldiers are believed to still protect the land and sea, long after their time has passed. Number 20. Lincolnville Historic District. Lincolnville Historic District in St. Augustine, Florida is one of the most haunted neighborhoods in the city. Established after the Civil War, this area was home to formerly enslaved people, workers, and families who lived through hardship, loss, and deep emotion. Many believe these strong memories have left spirits behind. One true haunted story comes from residents who hear footsteps walking along sidewalks late at night when the streets are empty. Some people report doors knocking by themselves or the sound of chairs moving inside old wooden homes. Another chilling experience involves shadow figures seen standing near porches or street corners. Witnesses say these figures watch quietly and disappear when approached. Soft humming, singing, or whispered voices have been heard drifting from abandoned houses. Some visitors feel sudden sadness or fear when walking through certain streets, especially after sunset. Lights have been seen turning on in empty buildings, and windows appear to reflect faces that vanish quickly. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained voices and strange sounds during nighttime investigations. These true haunted stories make Lincolnville Historic District a deeply emotional and eerie place, where the spirits of the past are believed to still walk the streets, remembering their lives and guarding the history of their community. Number 21. Cathedral Basilica of St. Augustine. The Cathedral Basilica of St. Augustine in St. Augustine, Florida is one of the oldest churches in the United States and is often described as quietly haunted. Built on sacred ground used for worship since the 1500s, the church has witnessed centuries of prayer, suffering, disease, and death. Many believe the spirits of the past still remain within its walls. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear soft footsteps echoing inside the church when it is empty. Some people report hearing faint whispers or low chanting sounds near the altar late in the evening, even though no services are taking place. Another chilling experience involves shadowy figures seen moving near the pews or standing silently near the back of the church. Witnesses say these figures vanish when approached, leaving behind a sudden cold feeling and deep silence. Some visitors have felt invisible hands touch their shoulders during prayer or experienced sudden waves of sadness or fear without reason. Candles have been seen flickering wildly, even when there is no air movement. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained voices and strange sounds during nighttime visits. These true haunted stories make the Cathedral Basilica a peaceful yet unsettling place, where faith, history, and lingering spirits seem to exist together in quiet mystery. Number 22. Mission Nombre de Dios Grounds. Mission Nombre de Dios grounds in St. Augustine, Florida, are among the oldest and most haunted locations in the city. Founded in 1565, this sacred site marks the first Catholic mission in the United States. Over centuries, Native Americans, Spanish settlers, missionaries, and soldiers lived, suffered, and died here, leaving behind powerful spiritual energy. One true haunted story comes from visitors who feel sudden chills and strong emotions while walking near the Great Cross and old burial areas. Some people report hearing soft chanting prayers or distant voices, even when the grounds are quiet. Another chilling experience happens near the ancient pathways. Shadowy figures have been seen walking slowly between trees and then fading away. Tour guides say some visitors feel dizzy or overwhelmed, as if unseen forces are surrounding them. At night, strange lights have been spotted moving across the grounds without any clear source. Photographs sometimes show misty shapes or glowing figures near historical markers. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained whispers and low voices during evening visits. Many visitors describe a deep sense of presence, both peaceful and unsettling. These true haunted stories make Mission Nombre de Dios a powerful place where history, faith, and restless spirits are believed to exist together, silently guarding the land where America's story began. Number 23. St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum in St. Augustine, Florida, is known as one of the most haunted museums in the city. The museum holds real pirate artifacts, including weapons, maps, and treasure linked to dangerous lives at sea. Many pirates were killed in battles, executions, or storms, and people believe their restless spirits are still connected to these objects. One true haunted story comes from staff members who hear heavy footsteps and boots walking across the wooden floors after closing time. Some employees report the smell of gunpowder or seawater suddenly filling the air, even though nothing is there. Another chilling experience involves display cases. Visitors have seen objects slightly move or rattle on their own. Some people feel sudden pressure on their chest or the sensation of being watched, especially near weapons once used in combat. Shadowy figures dressed like pirates have been seen in dark corners, quickly disappearing when lights are turned on. Paranormal investigators have recorded deep voices, low laughter, and unexplained knocking sounds during nighttime investigations. Photographs taken inside the museum sometimes show strange orbs or mist near the artifacts. These true haunted stories make the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum a terrifying place, where the spirits of pirates are believed to still guard their treasures, trapped forever between the sea and the land. Number 24. Anastasia Island Lighthouse Keeper's House. Anastasia Island Lighthouse Keeper's House in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the most haunted homes connected to the famous lighthouse. Built in the 1800s, this house was once home to lighthouse keepers and their families who lived isolated lives filled with danger, storms, and tragedy. Many believe their spirits never left. One true haunted story comes from visitors who hear furniture moving and footsteps pacing inside the house when it is completely empty. Some people report doors opening on their own and the feeling that someone is standing just behind them. Another chilling experience involves the spirit of a former keeper or family member. Guests and staff have seen a shadowy figure walking slowly through rooms or standing near windows, watching the grounds outside. The figure often disappears when noticed. At night, people report sudden cold spots and the sound of quiet breathing or whispered voices. Children visiting the house have pointed to empty spaces, saying someone is standing there. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained voices and strange knocking sounds during investigations. Many visitors leave feeling uneasy, as if they are being watched the entire time. These true haunted stories make the Anastasia Island Lighthouse Keeper's House a terrifying place, where the spirits of those who once guarded the light are believed to still remain forever tied to the sea and the shore. Number 25. Old Drugstore Museum. The Old Drugstore Museum in St. Augustine, Florida, is one of the city's most haunted historic shops. Opened in the early 1900s, it once served as a busy pharmacy where medicines were mixed by hand. Many patients came here sick, injured, or close to death, and some believe their spirits never left the building. One true haunted story comes from visitors who smell strong medicine, chemicals, or perfume even when nothing is present. These smells appear suddenly and vanish just as quickly. Some people also hear glass bottles clinking or drawers opening when no one is nearby. Another chilling experience happens near the old medicine counters. Staff and guests have seen shadow figures standing behind the counters, as if an unseen pharmacist is still working. Some visitors feel sudden dizziness or headaches in certain areas of the shop. At night, lights have been reported flickering on their own, and objects such as bottles or tools have been found slightly moved. Paranormal investigators have recorded soft whispers and low voices during after-hours visits. Photographs sometimes capture strange glowing shapes or mist near the shelves. These true haunted stories make the Old Drugstore Museum an eerie place, where the spirits of patients and workers are believed to remain, forever tied to the cures and suffering of the past.